Hey everyone, this is day 2 of working with my California Extreme Makeover Mustang, and this is a session that I did the night before day 2 that I worked with her for literally just 5 minutes. I didn't really have much time this first week when I had her because I had to go and edit videos for something else, so I was gone and not even at the property.
I really like how she's giving her hind end even though she's scared, so I'm trying to reward her for that. Over with my right hand and just pulling it over her neck. She's not too bothered by that.
So what I did for these 5 minutes was just work on changing her halter out because she did slip it over one ear.
Every time I open the gate to go in here, she comes up, which is more than Lynx. You're already better than Lynx, right? We take this halter off now. I'm gonna feed Lynx. If I can come back in and put it on you, then you can have it off for the night. Yeah? Does that sound like a plan?
So I didn't want to make just one whole video of me working her for literally like 3 to 5 minutes, so I'm just going to put it right before the clip that I have for our legit day 2 working her.
Really good kid.
So she did really awesome just with that halter exchange.
So I'm happy we were able to do this because literally just from those 2 days, look at these rubs that she got. Poor kid. Poor kid. What's this? We don't need these things. Wild horse who? You're so cute. Today is the official day 2 working with this mare. Yeah, she just followed me over here. I'd like to brush her mane out, so I'm gonna start with that, and then we're gonna work on leading a little bit, and we'll fly spray again, and then we'll just kind of see where the rest of the session leads to. It's gonna get pretty hot, so I probably have about 45 minutes to work with her.
I feel like I haven't even really had to approach her that much. She kind of just approaches me. So this is the first time haltering after the night when I took her halter off. And she halters up pretty soft, so I didn't have to do too much work with that. I tried to move with her there when she started to walk off.
Girl. Their mane is always matted and disgusting, so I use this Espana silk conditioner. I don't use the detangler right away because usually they're a little weird with sprays, and this works way deeper. So I'm going to use this on her, and then I'm just going to brush it out. And again, her mane is tamed on like her freeze brand side, so eventually I'm going to work towards getting it over here. I'll probably braid it tomorrow.
So I'm just going to show a couple short clips from it, but she was pretty good to have it brushed out. Right here, she got a little bit too pushy into me.
So that was a warning for her to get out of my space. She had pushed on me a couple times already, and I gently pushed back, but then she really pushed into me, so I'm just letting her know that there are boundaries. Alright, and her mane is now all brushed out, and I do have it on the correct side, but without it being braided, it's probably going to flop back over. It already started to. She kept a good amount of her length, honestly.
Now I'm just going to put some fly spray on her really fast, and this time, instead of just doing her neck and her shoulder and front end, I went further back with it. And now we're just working on some leading and having her stay more by my side. So I have the carriage whip with me right now to ask her just to quicken up her stride a little bit. So I don't want the horse too far behind me lagging back there. I kind of want to start getting her at that spot where her pole is next to my shoulder. Now the first little bit of desensitizing, just jumping around her and kind of being goofy. And what you saw is pretty much the biggest reaction that she had to it. She's a pretty mellow mare. And because this mare is a little bit pushy, I want to teach her to get out of my space as well. So right now I'm working on sending her away and then yielding her hindquarters. She's a little bit funky about it first because she doesn't fully understand. This is just her first time working on it. So I got to get that forward momentum and get her driving and pushed away from me. That way I can see if I'm able to control her hindquarters and get her to face back up with me if needed. And you can see me block her right there because she came in after I yielded her hindquarters, which is great, but I really want her to be able to stay away from me and yield her hindquarters to face up as well. I don't want her always having to be right in my space. Again, as soon as she moves out and starts with that forward movement, I relax my whip and I don't annoy her with the clucking. So after she walked up to me this time, I'm going to begin to work on teaching her what a backup is. Just one step at the start, that's all I'm going to ask for. She had pretty good hindquarter yields, but again, you can see that she was walking into me, so this is usually what happens when I'm working with them. I don't necessarily have a plan. I kind of just see what they need to work on, and I go and do that.
And this is actually the colt starting rope from Double Dan Horsemanship. I really like it. And we're going to tighten this up one more. So now we're going to try something that I don't think I've ever done with a horse on like day 2. Good girl. Let her take the time to check everything out. Good girl. I know it's sketchy. Come over this way. Good. Good. Very nice. Do you want to look at it closer? Come on. She's looking at this big tub right here. Good girl. So I'm just going to take my time with her and let her look around at things and stop if she needs to right now. And I do feel, good girl, I do feel pretty comfortable because this whole facility is like fenced in with a 5-foot fence. So if she does happen to get away, it's not the end of the world. Good girl. Good job, mare. It's okay. It's just me. There you go. Good girl. So the biggest thing I try to make sure of is that they're not going to run on top of me if they spook. Good girl. Good, and you're being a rock star.
You can really see in these shots
I
why
know.
I did the fly spray so early on.
Oh yeah, that's the stuff that we want. Good girl. We're gonna come back this way. Very good girl. She says, no, the food's over there. Good girl.
She's the type of horse that likes to back up as a response, so we're going to work on a lot of forward movement.
Good. So she's really wanting to either go back to the hay or go back to her pen. So I'm just going to keep that pressure, asking her to come forwards on her. Good.
She definitely is a food-motivated horse.
Good girl. Good girl.
So after I walked her out and around just for a little bit, I wanted to start
Good
working
girl.
on getting her to stand on the mark. I really like working with the mark early on, not necessarily for mark training, but to teach them how to step up, and it really helps me focus on working on body control with them. So I'm working the shoulders, the ribs, the hips, almost everything while working on trying to get them onto this mark. And I'm working on backing up too, because I back them up once they go over it. So it's a really great exercise. It's pretty well rounded, so you can work on everything.
Good girl. Good.
So right now I'm just wanting her to face up with it. And you can see I'm going to make sure that she gets on from that side over there. Because that was her first time ever stepping on it with one foot. Even though she stepped off right away, I rewarded it because still, that was a good try. So at the start, I'm just holding the whip and not really using it because I don't want it to be too much pressure on her. So she's definitely a bit confused, so I'm going to be patient with her. Again, if she wants to back up, I'm going to go with her, but still keep that pressure on. I don't want her to completely set back and freak out, so that's where me walking with her is a little bit of that give, but still she needs to walk forward off of that pressure. So I'm still being fairly gentle right here, not totally funneling her in. Good, and I was pretty surprised by her reaction there. She didn't care too much that it just flipped up and hit her in the knees.
So she's figured out to walk over it. Good.
I allowed her to walk over it that time because I want her to know that it is something safe.
Good. Good.
So now we'll go back to working on that back up. So if she resists against me, I'm going to really bounce my hand on her halter, and I feel pretty comfortable that she's in a flat halter right now. This is why I'm rewarding her for not even necessarily stepping up on the thing, is again because we're working on all these different things. We're working on the shoulders, we're working on the back up, I'm working on moving her hip over.
Relax.
And she's still looking around at everything too, mind you. She's been out of the pen for the first time for maybe like 5 minutes.
Relax.
So right now I'm just trying to get her to face up with the block. And I realized at this point where she did get one foot on it a couple times, but it was really too much, and I kind of pushed her too far where she's in this area she's not comfortable with yet, and I'm asking her to do something and really use her body parts like she's never used them before. So I decided to go back into the pen and just end on a good note of just standing near the block and relaxing, and she relaxed pretty well and started to soften and lick and chew, so I decided to go back to the pen there. Again, my goal wasn't necessarily to get on the mark, but just to start working on that body control, but it was too much for her, so I had to recognize that and be fair. So we went back to the pen, and then we worked on it inside of the pen where she should feel a little bit more comfortable.
Don't hit your head on the top. Let's go. There you go. Good girl. Very nice.
So now that we're back in her pen, I'm going to use the whip because I feel like she's a little bit more comfortable in here to really help get those shoulders over.
Good. There you go. You even know your foot's
So you can tell she's less stressed out and concerned with her surroundings in here, so she's able to focus on me a little bit more.
Good girl.
We're getting a lot more tries with that 1 foot getting up. So she stepped over it here, so we're going to back up. Again, and I start super light asking, but I am going to escalate if she's not responding, especially for horses like this, if they're kind of pushy and in your space, you want to make sure you have a really good strong backup on them. Good yielding the hips, good pushing the ribs away.
Good. 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 Back up. Good. Yep. Good. Back up. Back. Back.
I say good a lot, so if you guys want, I can always
Good
mute the
girl.
sound
There
on
you
the
go.
actual
Good
videos,
girl.
but it's just a reward
Good
word that I
girl.
use
Good
with my
girl. That
horses
was
a
it.
lot, more for the tone.
That was it. Good. Good. Good girl. No. Back. Back. Good. Back up. Back up. Back up.
And I cut these clips down because there is a lot of just
Good.
standing around waiting for her to soften and relax.
Girl.
So that was her first time with 2 hooves on the mark.
Good. Good. So close.
So this last clip getting on the mark is a little bit faster because I did give her like a 5-minute break, and then I wanted to come back in and see if we could get it just a tiny bit faster, and she did.
There you go.
So that's
Good
awesome to
girl.
always see
Right
when they
there.
retain
Good
something.
girl.
And now we're gonna work on the fly mask. So
Good.
what I do is I let them sniff it, and then I rub it on their body just to let them know that it's a safe object. She's pretty good with it being rubbed everywhere. And then I work on the Velcro on the side where it's going to be, so I don't get the
Good
fly
girl,
mask
good
on the
girl.
horse and then go to unvelcro it, and she totally freaks out. So I work on this off of their body first.
You're fine.
And then I'm going to just practice putting it over her while I have the halter on.
Good girl.
I wanted to get this on her pretty quick because, again, you can see all the flies that are always around her. I feel like this is probably the place where the flies are going to be worse, but still, she's got to get used to a fly mask anyways, even if she isn't going to wear it the rest of the time.
You a little domestic horse now? Alright, well hopefully that makes the flies a little bit better for you, kid. And that's probably going to be the end of day 2 with this mare. So if you want to see day 3 with this Mustang, I will be posting that tomorrow. And again, she is my mare for the California Extreme Mustang Makeover. And yeah, thank you for watching. I just took her out really quick this evening and we were at the trailer. And I'm just going to see, I have some hay. She found the hay that's on the ground already though. I'm going to see if I can get her to take a step up. Good girl. Good girl. I don't know if I feel comfortable in here with her all the way quite yet. We're all the way in and we're turned around, and she's happy to do this for some hay. But this is a way just to make her a little bit more comfortable, because you know that first experience on the trailer can be a little traumatizing when they get loaded up how they do, and then, you know, hauling for 9 hours.
So this is just a quick little bonus session because I am recording everything. That's why I showed those little clips at the beginning again, because I don't want to accidentally do sessions and not record a little bit from it, just so you guys can really see everything that goes into these horses. But this was probably about 10 minutes of working at PM feed. So we just loaded up those 2 times and turned around.
And she fly masked up like a champ. She's now halterless and she is eating from a hay bag like a civilized animal.
So that is the actual end of day 2. So thank you guys for watching, and day 3 will be up tomorrow.